Hello there, welcome back to Fit the Lit, where we try to fit literature to its rightful standard. Today we are about to begin with yet another poem included in your NCERT Flamingo. So we are about to begin with Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, written by Adrienne Rich. We are going to cover the detailed explanation of the poem along with line by line analysis and some poetic devices that are used in the poem. Let us begin the session by reading about the poet as given in your NCERT. Adrienne Rich, 1929 to 2012, was born in Baltimore, Maryland, USA. So she's an American poet, right? She's an American poet. And she is widely known for her involvement in the contemporary women's movement. As a poet and as a theorist, we will discuss this point later on in the next slide. She has published 19 volumes of poetry, 3 collections of essays and other writings. A strong resistance to racism and militarism echoes through her work. The poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers addresses the constraints of a married life a woman experiences. So this last line actually forms the central theme. ये हमें क्या बता रहा है? Central theme of the poem, right? This is the central theme. If you have the book with you, you can just mark it for your reference. Now, this is the central theme, so we are going to expect that she is going to write something about feminism, something about the restrictions that that a woman faces in her married life, right? So, जो भी problem एक lady face करती है after marriage, जो भी उसको restrictions झेलने पड़ते हैं after marriage, this is what Aunt Tigers is all about. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers is all about, right? So, when we talk about Adrienne Rich as a poet, you might recall that you had a similar kind of poem dealing with the same kind of theme in class 10th as well. If you have done your class 10th from CBSE, you might recall that there was this poem called The Trees, right? The Trees, maybe something similar was there. It is also a work by Adrienne Rich, and the trees in this particular poem, the trees, we talked about, how the women should come together and collectively they should support each other. That was the whole theme. Here also she's talking about the restraints, the restrictions that are put on a woman in a patriarchal society. So I have introduced a few terms which I think you should be aware of. If not, they will be clear in the later on slide. Let us move on. Having understood a few things about the poet, we know that she is a writer who is going to talk about female issues, who is going to talk about the issues that a lady faces in a married life. And this particular poem also is something on the similar note. Let us move forward. Having read about the poet, let us start by reading or setting the context for the poem. So when Adrienne Rich was writing, there was this second wave of feminism. So what do you understand by this term second wave of feminism? Let us try to dig deeper and understand it more clearly. So feminism is basically a belief that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men. So it is as simple as that. So all the feminist writers, let it be male writers or female writers, all the feminist writers, they have this kind of theory that the females in the society should have equal rights as compared to men. अब same तरीके के उनको rights होने चाहिए in all the spheres. Now all the spheres are all the domains. तो क्या हो सकते हैं domains? If you try to think, then you realize कि a lot of domains can be there. For example, political domain हो सकता है कि फीमेल्स को सेम पॉलिटिकल राइट्स मिले, उनको राइट टू वोट मिले, उनको भी कंटेस्ट करने दिए जाए इलेक्शंस, वो भी एज रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स खड़ी हो पाए, राइट? उनको भी मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पोस्ट्स होल्ड करने को मिले. सो दीज आर पॉलिटिकल राइट्स. देन इकोनॉमिक राइट्स. सो इकोनॉमिक राइट्स कैन बी एज ट्रिवियल एज इक्वल अमाउंट ऑफ पे एट वर्क प्लेस, कि अगर आप सेम काम कर रहे हैं, सो इक्वल अमाउंट ऑफ पे फॉर इक्वल अमाउंट ऑफ वर्क डन, कि आप जो सेम काम कर रहे हैं उसका आपको सेम पैसा मिलना चाहिए. पहले ऐसी चीज़ें नहीं होती थी, इवन नॉट इन अमेरिका. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द अमेरिकन कॉन्टेक्स्ट हियर, रिमेंबर, राइट? एड्रियन रिच इज एन अमेरिकन पोएट, तो हम अमेरिकन कॉन्टेक्स्ट की ही बात कर रहे हैं. तो पहले ऐसा नहीं होता था अमेरिका में भी कि उनको इक्वल अमाउंट ऑफ पे मिलता था, राइट. और इट कैन बी द फैमिली डोमेन, दैट इज द सोशल राइट्स. ऑफ कोर्स in India we have a patriarchal society. Now I have introduced another new term for you, that is patriarchal society. India is a patriarchal society. So patriarchal society basically means purush pradhan samaj hai, in the sense ki the sons are considered to be superior because they are the one who will carry forward the lineage. कि फैमिली नेम तो उसी को कैरी करना है, isn't it? तो सरनेम तो लड़का ही कैरी करता है. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ सोसाइटी इज कॉल्ड पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी. अब पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी में देयर आर लॉट ऑफ राइट्स जो कि ज़्यादा मेन को दिए जाते हैं और वुमेन को नहीं दिए जाते हैं, राइट. सिमिलर इज द केस विद सोशल राइट्स. तो सोशल राइट्स क्या हो सकते हैं? फॉर एग्जाम्पल फैमिली का हेड जो होता है वो हमेशा एक मेल को माना जाता है, राइट. देन इफ यू हैव टू कंसिडर द नंबर ऑफ चिल्ड्रन, अगर आप एक कपल हैं एंड आपको नंबर ऑफ चिल्ड्रन जो है अपनी फैमिली में डिसाइड करने हैं कि वी आर गोइंग टू हैव 2 चिल्ड्रन और 3 चिल्ड्रन, तो वो भी मेल ही डिसाइड करेगा, राइट. So these are the kind of rights that come under the category of family or social rights. तो ये rights भी पहले women को नहीं दिए जाते थे. It is very sad but it is true, and it was true till of course 1980s 1990s. आज भी true है कई societies में तो, right. So बहुत सारी societies में तो आज भी females को बिल्कुल ही rights नहीं मिलते हैं. But this was not the case with America. America में because of these waves of feminism meaning periods of feminism, different phases. So waves को आप you can replace with the word phases. Because of these phases of feminism, a lot of rights were given to women, right. A lot of rights were bestowed upon women. बहुत सारे rights उनको दे दिए गए थे. Especially look at the second phase. Now if you recall what was the lifetime of Adrienne Rich, it was 1929 to 2012. So in her lifetime she must have been inspired and motivated by this second wave of feminism. तो आपने देखा कि वो हमेशा किसके बारे में लिख रही थी? वो हमेशा फीमेल इमेंसिपेशन के बारे में लिख रही है, वो हमेशा फीमेल वुमेन्स राइट्स के ऊपर लिख रही है. She is always writing about the restrictions that are put on a woman in a patriarchal society. तो ऐसा क्यों है कि वो मतलब ये चीज़ें लिख रही है? Of course because she was inspired and motivated by this particular second wave of feminism, right. And this second wave of feminism focused on workplace issues. जैसे कि मैंने बताया economic sphere पे उनका focus था, and of course they were focusing on educational and reproductive rights also. जो मैंने आपको बताया family sphere and economic sphere पे बहुत ज़्यादा उनका focus था. So when she is also writing upon these issues कि women should have equal rights, but specifically किस domain में? Economic and family domain में, right. Of course there were then other waves of feminism, the first one, the third one and the fourth one. You can just take a screenshot of the slide and read it for your reference, but for the background, for the context, the second wave of feminism is important and that we have read. Let us move forward. तो of course she is drawing her inspiration from second wave of feminism. तो आप क्या expect करेंगे कि वो किस पे लिख रही है? She is writing about women's experiences, gender roles and domestic oppression. तो family related oppression पे लिख रही है कि कैसे एक male head के अंदर females जो होती हैं वो they are oppressed, उनको वो बहुत ज़्यादा suffer करती हैं, उनकी बातें नहीं सुनी जाती हैं, they cannot they have to undergo a lot of sufferings under that male head, right. The poem was composed during a time when women often faced patriarchal control, marriages were frequently unequal, and a woman's personal desires, creativity and freedom were suppressed. So as I said that this particular poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, it was written at a time when marriages were highly unequal. कि marriages में सिर्फ किसकी चलती थी? Male members की. The husband whatsoever he said was the last word, and the wife had to follow it accordingly. Especially so because at that time there was no economic equality and there was no economic freedom, क्योंकि women को जॉब ही नहीं करने दी जाती थी. What उनके पास जो क्रिएटिविटी भी होती थी उसको भी वो यूटिलाइज नहीं कर सकते थे. अपनी पर्सनल फ्रीडम उनके पास जीरो थी, राइट. एंड ऑफ कोर्स उनको जॉब भी नहीं करने दी जाती थी. सो दैट इन दैट काइंड ऑफ स्टेट द फीमेल वाज एंटायरली डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द मेल मेंबर और द मेल हेड, और फिर उसको वैसे ही करना पड़ता था जैसे कि उसका ऑर्डर होता था, राइट. In this particular poem, Adrienne Rich uses Aunt Jennifer as a symbolic figure representing many women who feel trapped in their marriages or social or societal expectations. This particular is important. So Aunt Jennifer is actually a symbol representing all the women who feel trapped in their marriages. तो Aunt Jennifer सिर्फ एक single out case नहीं है कि वो एक case है for a particular lady. No, it is actually she is actually representing all the women who are feeling restricted, who are feeling trapped in their marriages, who are feeling a lot of burden of their marriages. So Aunt Jennifer becomes a symbol representing all these women. So as customary at Fit the Lit, let us start with a brief starter activity. The activity is called emotion poll, and you just need to do one thing, and that is, if you had to describe your life in one word, which one would you pick? Freedom, fear, courage, or responsibility? And you need to comment your option in the comment box, right? So just feel free to choose any of the options. You need to take only one word to describe your life right now. What do you feel? Do you feel free? Do you feel afraid? That is fear. Or do you feel courageous? Or do you feel a lot of responsibility is there on your shoulders? So what kind of the word is the one that you can connect with the most? You need to comment it in the comment box. Alright, let us start with the line by line explanation of the poem. Stanza 1. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree, they pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. So, right in the beginning, the poetess Adrienne Rich has introduced us to Aunt Jennifer, and she says that Aunt Jennifer, the tigers that she is making, because Aunt Jennifer is actually doing embroidery, right? Now embroidery is this, she is doing embroidery on that embroidery ring. So these embroidery ring looks like this, right? The embroidery ring जो होती है वो ऐसी somewhat दिखती है. तो आप क्या करते हैं, इसमें cloth लेते हैं, a piece of cloth you take and you put it inside the ring. उस ring में रख के and you draw the embroidery with a thread. अब जितनी आपकी कलरफुल एंड जितनी यूनिक आपकी थ्रेड होगी उतना ही यूनिक आपका एम्ब्रॉयडरी का डिजाइन निकल के आएगा. बट हियर आंट जेनिफर इज नॉट मेकिंग बटरफ्लाइज, शी इज नॉट मेकिंग अ वीक एनिमल, शी इज नॉट मेकिंग अ मीक एनिमल, रादर शी इज क्रिएटिंग समथिंग रियली फेरोशियस, रियली विविड. और वो क्या बना रही है, शी इज एक्चुअली क्रिएटिंग अ टाइगर. तो वो उस एम्ब्रॉयडरी रिंग में क्या कर रही है, शी इज क्रिएटिंग अ tiger, and the tiger somewhat looks like this. In the sense, let us try to understand now कि exactly कैसे tiger बना रही है, right? So Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. तो वो tigers क्या कर रहे हैं, जो वो tigers embroidery में create कर रही है, वो tigers क्या कर रहे हैं, they are prancing across the screen. Now the meaning of prancing is already given in your NCERT. So prancing means when you are jumping playfully. Now these tigers are not the predators, they are not portrayed as predators कि वो शिकार पे जा रहे हैं, वो हंटिंग नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो जस्ट अपना प्लेफुली खेल रहे हैं, राइट? दे आर जंपिंग across a screen. Now this portion, this cloth is called as screen. तो वो क्या कर रहे हैं, वो screen पे we can see that these tigers are prancing. bright topaz denizens of a world of green. Now imagine these tigers. These tigers are not very dull. वो ऐसे dull कलर के नहीं है, ना ही वो कुछ ऐसा dull activity कर रहे हैं. Of course they are jumping playfully, तो वो कुछ dull तो नहीं कर रहे हैं, right? तो bright, उनका जो कलर भी है वो कैसा है? Bright color है. And topaz, what kind of bright? The topaz color. Now topaz is basically a gemstone, right? Yellowish gemstone. I'll show you the image in the next slide. So it is a yellowish gemstone. तो वो जो टाइगर्स हैं वो कैसे दिख रहे हैं? एकदम ब्राइट कलर के. एंड व्हाट इज दैट ब्राइट कलर? येलो. Denizens of a world of green. Now denizens basically means inhabitants, right? The meaning again is, I guess, given in your NCERT. The inhabitants. So they are living in a world of green. Of course, in a world of green refers to the grasslands, which is where we can find the tigers mostly, right? So they are inhabiting, or they are living in the grasslands, and they look like the yellowish color, or they have a very shiny kind of skin, the bright fur, right? That kind of thing is there. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. So on this screen, let me just change the page. So as I said, topaz is basically a gemstone, right? So you can see this is topaz, right? Now these tigers, when she is making this embroidery, when Aunt Jennifer is creating her embroidery pattern, suppose these are the tigers. Now my drawing is not going to be that, up to perfection, but it will help you, make you understand. So suppose these are the tigers, and we have the tree here, and there are a few people, a few men sitting under this tree. But here, when she is doing the embroidery, she is making that tree, she is making that number of male members of the society sitting under the tree. Generally the women are afraid of these men, isn't it? But ironically enough, contrastingly enough, these tigers are not afraid of these men. So again she is trying to comment on the condition of women in the society. कि women तो ज़्यादा afraid रहती हैं, women तो बहुत ज़्यादा डरी हुई रहती हैं men से. But these tigers are not afraid. वो बिल्कुल नहीं डर रहे हैं, right? They do not fear the men beneath the tree. So on our embroidery ring, उसने Aunt Jennifer ने कितने elements बना रखे हैं? Of course, the men sitting under the tree, and the tiger, which is playing playfully in the green background. So of course the grasslands, you can imagine. So this is the kind of embroidery that she is making on the screen. And of course these tigers are not fearful. They do not fear. They are not afraid. They are not afraid of the men who are sitting beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Now pace means to walk up and down in the same area many times. So the tigers, they are moving around the tree, they are moving near the tree, and they are playing on and prancing near the tree. But that movement is considered to be sleek. Now sleek is very smooth movement, right? Chivalric meaning very brave, filled with braveness or bravery, filled with bravery, sorry, not braveness, bravery. So and certainty means some amount of assuredness, some amount of confidence. So what kind of movement are these tigers making? These tigers are making a sleek movement, that is very elegantly. They are moving very elegantly. Then they are moving with a lot of bravery and with a lot of confidence in their walk, right? So in the first two lines, the physical description of the tigers is given. The physical description कि वो कैसे दिख रहे हैं, कि वो bright दिख रहे हैं, yellowish color के हैं, राइट, और उनके पीछे एक पूरा ग्रास लैंड है ग्रीन कलर का, राइट. So that is there. But in the next two lines we are given the emotions that we can attach to these tigers. तो वो tigers कैसे हैं? वो bold हैं, वो fearless हैं, वो brave हैं, वो elegantly walk कर रहे हैं, they are filled with confidence. तो ये सारे adjectives हमारे दिमाग में आना चाहिए when we see the embroidery that is being done by Aunt Jennifer. तो जब हम Aunt Jennifer की embroidery को देंगे तो हमारे दिमाग में ये सब words आने चाहिए. And what are these words? I am repeating myself. Bold, courageous, fearless, chivalric, elegant, confident, all these words should strike in our mind. Okay. Now let us look at stanza 2. Look at the contrast that is given in the state, in the condition of Aunt Jennifer and the things that she is embroidering, right? The things that she is making on the embroidery. So here we are given with a brief description of Aunt Jennifer herself, कि वो खुद कैसी है, right? Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. So the poetess again says that Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. So her when she is doing the embroidery, वो बना तो बहुत bold creatures रही है. She is making those fearless creatures, but when she is doing the embroidery, she herself is looking really weak. इतनी weak लग रही है, इतनी fearful लग रही है, इतनी डरी हुई लग रही है, that her fingers are fluttering. Fluttering means trembling, shaking. Yes, to move or make something move quickly. So basically, trembling or shaking. So when she is doing the embroidery, जब वो embroidery कर रही है, तो उसके fingers क्या हो रहे हैं? एकदम flutter कर रहे हैं, tremble कर रहे हैं, shake कर रहे हैं. Through her wool, find even the ivory needle hard to pull. So when she is doing the embroidery, when she is doing that embroidery with the wool, वो इतनी ज़्यादा shake कर रही है fingers that she is finding even the ivory needle. Now earlier, before the invention of stainless steel, अब तो stainless steel से बन जाती है needles, right? तो उसमें of course जंग नहीं लगता है, they don't get rusted. But पहले तो ये problem थी कि iron जो था वो rust हो जाता था. तो जो needles बनती थी हमारी, वो पहले ivory की बनती थी. Now ivory is something that you get from elephant's tusk, right? Elephant वहाँ से हमें आइवरी मिलती है, राइट? तो पहले नीडल्स जो होती थी वो आइवरी की बनती थी, तो उसी से एम्ब्रॉयडरी की जाती थी. ऑफ कोर्स इट वाज नॉट दैट इट वाज नॉट ऑफ अ मैसिव वेट, इतना ज़्यादा वेट नहीं हुआ करता था. बट लुक एट द कंडीशन ऑफ आंट जेनिफर दैट शी इज फाइंडिंग इवन दिस आइवरी नीडल हार्ड टू पुल, कि वो उसको भी नहीं उठा पा रही है, राइट? हर फिंगर्स आर शेकिंग व्हेन शी इज डूइंग द एम्ब्रॉयडरी. वो इतनी हैवी लग रही है उसको नीडल that she is not even able to pick that needle up properly. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Now the poetess tells us the reason कि why her fingers are shaking, why her fingers are trembling. It is not because of the weight of the needle, कि वो needle इतनी भारी है इसलिए नहीं उठा पा रही है, ऐसा नहीं है. The reason, the real reason is that the wedding ring, the wedding band here refers to the ring. The wedding ring is having an enormous weight. Massive means enormous, बहुत ज़्यादा. The wedding ring is too heavy to carry. Now here wedding ring basically symbolizes the marriage, that her marital responsibilities are weighing her down, कि वो इतना बर्डन फील कर रही है अपनी मैरिटल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज से, अपने रिस्ट्रिक्शंस जो उसके ऊपर लग गए हैं, दैट शी इज नॉट एबल टू पिक अप द नीडल, राइट? So what is the reason that she is not able to pick up the needle, or what is the reason that her fingers are trembling? That she feels the restrictions of the marriage that is put upon her, right? So the poetess says, because of the massive weight, because of the heavy weight of the ring, she is not able to pick up the needle. The heavy weight sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand, कि उसके हाथ पे वो बैंड, वेडिंग बैंड का वेट इतना ज़्यादा है that she is not even able to pick up the needle, the ivory needle. Let us move forward. The last stanza. Now in this last stanza, notice that the first two lines will be devoted to Aunt Jennifer, and the next two lines will be devoted to the tigers that she is creating. But they are referring, or they are talking about the future. पहले के जो दो stanzas थे, stanza 1 talked about the tigers, but it also talked about the tigers in the present tense, कि वो अभी कैसे दिख रहे हैं, right? Stanza 2 talked about Aunt Jennifer, right? Aunt Jennifer, I'll just write AJ, and then what is the present condition of her. But now stanza 3 is going to devote 2 lines to each of them, and that too they will be, the poetess will be talking about the future, कि उनका future कैसा होगा. Present तो ऐसा है that they are in a contrasting situation, कि the tigers are extremely bold and confident, whereas Aunt Jennifer herself, her fingers are even trembling or shaking because of the ring that is weighing her down. But here the future, let us see that how the future looks. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still ringed with the ordeals she was mastered by. So the poetess is not here presenting a very positive image. She is rather having very pessimistic thoughts, very negative kind of thoughts for her future. So she says कि even after she is dead, जब वो मर भी जाएगी, when Aunt Jennifer will die, her terrified hands, terrified meaning again scared, will lie still ringed with the ordeals she was mastered by. So all the difficult tasks, all the unpleasant situations or experiences that she had in her lifetime, जो भी उसके difficult experiences थे, जो भी उसके difficult tasks थे, जो कि उसने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी में झेले, those will still restrict her. वो उसको फिर भी restrict ही करेंगे. Even after death she is not going to be free. Now try to understand this opinion, कि how is she not going to be free. See, a woman throughout her life is known by a male member that is closest to her. For example, when a child is born, when a female child is born, she is known by the name of her father. Then later on when she gets married, then probably by the name of her husband. But after, let us say, after she gives birth to a child, she is known by the name of her son, and then so on and so forth. तो जो भी उसके closest male member होता है, उसके reference उसको बुलाया जाता है. So similarly, if you might have seen those tombstones, ऐसा Christians में tombstone लगता है, right? तो यहाँ पे लिखा जाता है the loving daughter of, then son of, wife of, and then mother of. So she will still be remembered by the male counterparts she had throughout her life. तो उसकी खुद की आइडेंटिटी तो कोई पूछेगा ही नहीं ना. She is always remain known by the male counterparts that she had. तो उसकी खुद की आइडेंटिटी है ही नहीं कोई, वो आफ्टर डेथ भी नहीं बनेगी ना थ्रू आउट लाइफ ही थी, राइट. सो दिस इज व्हाट शी इज ट्राइंग टू से हियर, कि इवन आफ्टर डेथ, इवन आफ्टर हर डेथ, जो भी ऑडियंस थी उसने झेली, जो भी उसने डिफिकल्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस झेले थे, वो तो उसके साथ ही रहेंगे, राइट. शी विल स्टिल बी अफ्रेड ऑफ the male members, of the restrictions of the society. तो उसकी पूरी लाइफ भी बीत जाएगी. इवन आफ्टर डेथ शी विल स्टिल बी रिंग्ड. वो उसको स्टिल वो सारे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस वैसे ही रहेंगे. शी विल स्टिल बी रिंग्ड विद दोज ऑर्डियल्स. उसको वही ऑर्डियल्स फॉलो करनी पड़ेगी, वही रिस्ट्रिक्शंस फॉलो करनी पड़ेगी, वही रिलेशंस के थ्रू वो जानी चाहिए, राइट. But look at the contrast now. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. And the tigers will also remain the same. In the panel that she made, the embroidery panel, the panel here basically means the embroidery panel. So whatsoever tigers she has created on the embroidery panel, they will go on prancing. वो वैसे ही प्लेफुली खेल रहे हैं. दे आर जंपिंग प्लेफुली एंड दे आर प्लेइंग अराउंड एंड दे विल स्टिल रिमेन प्राउड, वही कॉन्फिडेंट, एंड दे विल स्टिल बी फियरलेस, अनअफ्रेड. सो द पोएटेस सेज दैट द कंडीशन ऑफ बोथ ऑफ दीज एंटिटीज, चाहे वो आंट जेनिफर की हो चाहे वो टाइगर्स की हो, फ्यूचर में भी ऐसी रहेगी. नथिंग इज गोइंग टू चेंज, राइट. द टाइगर्स which she has created in her embroidery screen, वो वैसे ही bold, fearless and unafraid रहेंगे, whereas Aunt Jennifer herself will remain weak, will remain submissive, will remain afraid of the men, will remain afraid of the society, will be restricted by the society, will be burdened by her marriage. So all these things you should be able to understand कि ऐसा ही situation रहेगी, right. So altogether we can say that the poetess here is having a very negative, pessimistic view of the future of Aunt Jennifer and the tigers, right. Having discussed the poem line by line, let us check your understanding. So this is the question that you need to attempt. Bring out the contrast between Aunt Jennifer and the tigers. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Whatever terms come to your mind related to Aunt Jennifer and related to the tigers, you can just type them in the comment box. Alright, let us discuss. So when you were describing the tigers, these words should have come to your mind. So they are depicted as proud, unafraid, then they are moving with confidence, they have a certain amount of boldness and independence, and they also represent strength and freedom. So if you were able to recall at least 4 of them, then you are good to go. Then for Aunt Jennifer, she is fearful, oppressed, then physically burdened with, of course, the ring and the marital responsibilities. Then she is also nervous. She feels heavy pressure of patriarchal marriage, and she is also in a very fragile state. So all these words, again, there are approximately 7 to 8 words to describe each of the characters here. If you were able to recall at least 4 of them for each character, then you are good to go. If not, then I would suggest you to rewatch the video in order to understand the analysis and understand the line by line explanation better. So let us move forward with the poetic devices now. Let me tell you beforehand that the poetic devices are extremely important in this particular piece of poem, because there have been a lot of poetic devices that are used. So if you do not understand the poetic devices, you will lose out on the essence of this written piece, right? So let us start. The first is imagery. Now imagery is when you use or when you describe the event in order to appeal to the 5 sense organs that we have, right? Here specifically visual imagery has been used to contrast Aunt Jennifer's meek life with the freedom of tigers. So we can visualize the tigers that she is creating on the embroidery screen. तभी मैंने आपको पूरा drawing करके दिखाया था, right? So we can visualize the tigers as it is, as they are being embroidered on the screen. So this is visual imagery. Now second is symbolism. So I told you right in the beginning of the line by line analysis and explanation that Aunt Jennifer stands for all the women. So again, Aunt Jennifer herself is a symbol, right? Is a symbol representing all women. Apart from that, the tigers also symbolizes strength, fearlessness, independence. Everything that Aunt Jennifer herself lacks. So of course, the tigers that are Aunt Jennifer's creations, they also stand for fearlessness. Aunt Jennifer's hands symbolize her oppression and domestic burdens. So her hands, she's not able to move her hands freely because of the weight of the ring. Here again, the ring, the wedding band, represents patriarchy, marital pressure, and a lifetime of constraint or restrictions. As I said, that the wedding band itself represents marriage, and marriage again a symbol of oppression. Okay, women feel a lot of restrictions because of the marriage. Then of course Jennifer's hand, Aunt Jennifer's hand, they symbolize the oppression because her hands are trembling, shaking. So the intensity of oppression that she is facing in her married life. Then the third one is alliteration. Now alliteration is the repetition of consonant sound to add some kind of rhythm to the poem, right? So alliteration, fingers fluttering, the sound of F has been repeated. Then we have metaphor. Metaphor is indirect comparison between two things, okay? The massive weight of uncle's wedding band metaphorically represents the oppressive force of patriarchal marriage. तो ये symbolism में आएगा, and ये same चीज metaphor में भी you can mention कि the wedding band is actually a metaphor for marriage. Moving ahead, we have personification. So the tigers, they are personified here. They are prancing, and generally these are the words that we use for children, the human children, right? So when the animals or anything is given human qualities, anything inanimate, anything non-living, or anything that is animal as well, if animals are also given humanly attributes, then we call that poetic device as personification. So they pace they pace confidently and are proud and unafraid. So all these adjectives tend to humanize or personify the tigers, as if they are human beings. They are trying to portray, the poetess is trying to portray the tigers as human beings. So of course, personification. Then we have contrast or juxtaposition. Now contrast is definitely there in stanza 1 and 2, right? And stanza 3 as well, the first two lines and the last two lines of stanza 3. So they bring about the contrast between the condition of Aunt Jennifer and the tigers that she is creating. So again, the poetic device of contrast is used there. Aunt Jennifer's fearful, constrained life and the tiger's bold and fearless existence. This contrast highlights the theme of female oppression versus imagined freedom. So, in essence, Aunt Jennifer is actually creating her vision that what is freedom for her, and that is what she is actually embroidering on the screen. So her imagined freedom, the tigers also represent her imagined freedom. Alright, the last ones, enjambment. Enjambment is when you break a line without any punctuation mark towards the end. So if you see throughout the poem, enjambment, the poetic device of enjambment has been used. And then finally, rhyme scheme. So if you look at the rhyme scheme closely, it is AA BB rhyme scheme, right? This brings us towards the end of the lesson. If you liked the video, like it, share it with your friends as much as you can so that they can also benefit out of it, and subscribe to my channel Fit the Lit, where we fit literature to its rightful standard and we try to remain lit always.